Hi, I'm Bill Erb with Safe Credit Union, Vice President of CCRIM. I'm a mortgage sales team lead with Safe Credit Union, and so what am I doing talking about economics? The reason is that all the clients that I talk to seem to want to know more about it. And so it forced me to dig in and do some research and so on about, hey, what's really happening in the market? You know, you get a lot of different opinions. So for me, it's a necessary process in my mind to speak strongly with clients regarding what's going on in the market. So let's see, I guess I have to turn my clicker on before it will work. All right, so let's look at some local statistics first. This is just stating the obvious, what most of us know. However, it's interesting to look at it in actual facts. So Walnut Creek, you know, I put the two things on here. I keep hearing this, oh, prices are going down, it's gonna crash, it's gonna, you know, and it's going, oh really? Well, there's a bunch of reasons why that ain't happening, but let's walk through it. First off, yeah, volume's off. Look at the black line. Those are number of units, so we're all feeling that. We have less business closed, that's true. But take a look at the top line. You see the pink and the blue or whatever color that is? That's the average and median prices. So do you see those going down? I don't see it. And I don't see it in the offers and the accepted offers that I see coming across my desk for my clients. So what I have to say to this is, look, all these projections about, oh, prices have dropped and they're doing this, they dropped from what? Okay, take a look at the recent comment, oh yeah, it's off a little bit. Well, poor seller, you know, they bought that house in San Ramon for $1.1 million, and now they're selling it for $2.1 million. You know, 2 years later. Now they had to adjust the price back to $1.9 million to get it to go. Okay, really? So here's the thing, you have to put things in perspective, in my opinion. This was Danville. It's a very similar market. Danville, same thing. The number of units is down, but the prices are holding. So when we look at all the reasons why this is happening, it gets interesting. So interest rates and affordability are at the top of this. We all know what rates have done. Actually, this was pulled from Thursday of last week, and our rates up since last Thursday? Yeah, okay. But get used to it. Right now, with the inflationary cycle, the Fed's gonna keep their foot on this pedal, all right? However, you gotta think about how long is that gonna be for? This administration and our federal government have been spending more than they make for years. Eventually, it's going to force rates back down. That's history. Okay, so for right now, though, we're dealing with it. So let's look at the affordability. Has it dropped? It dropped from Q1 to Q2 from 24% affordability down to 16%. Yes, that's true. However, there's still tons of buyers on the sidelines. And it's not a matter of when, okay? I guess whether, I should say. It's a matter of when they get in. So let's talk about that. Here's the good news. I pulled this on yesterday. The mortgage purchase applications rose in the last 6 weeks. Where do you think this is coming from? I'll tell you, it's the millennials, but if you're not marketing to the millennials as a real estate agent or a loan agent, then you're missing a big chunk of the market. And we'll talk about that, because I like to get to the point about what do we do and how do we guide people in the right direction on this. Okay, oh, by the way, you see that 7 years little part back here? Here's what you need to know. From 2010 to 2017, the purchase mortgage loan applications were lower than what they are now. And that was for 7 years, folks. So get ready. Remember, we went through an aberration where they jumped up and they've settled back down. And the likelihood is that that will continue in this vein. So button down the hatches, prepare for the next couple of years, because this is what we're looking at. Purchase applications are what drive the business for most everyone in this room, okay? Next thing, Contra Costa County. I love putting this slide up because all of us that are fortunate enough to live here and sell real estate here, we're still, you see the yellow? We're still one of the biggest bargains compared to all the rest of the counties around. This is why Contra Costa has been very, very robust in terms of sales and price appreciation. So here's the flip side of it. Home ownership rates in California, we are the lowest in the country. The lowest in the country, and that's our job to change that. Okay, if you look at it right now, 54.2% is the home ownership percentage in California. And if you look back over the last 17 years, since 2005, 9.8% drop. So in other words, we were roughly 64% home ownership. It dropped to 54% over the last 7 years. It slid down. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons for that here in California, but we have to pay attention to it because it's people like us that drive the next buyers into a deal. So let's look at the job growth. We're unique here in the Bay Area. Oh, by the way, I threw this slide in because, you know, look at the 7 fastest growing cities in California. You know who the number 1 is? I said, what? Dublin, really? Well, yeah, here's the point. Think about it. It's at the crossroads of the Silicon Valley, San Francisco, and guess where most of the growth is? Okay, yeah. So look, this isn't rocket science. This is pretty obvious when I look at it from my point of view. Is where are people buying? They're buying where they can still get to the Silicon Valley, but yet they're out of the Silicon Valley. Next thing is, I love this slide. 74% of the jobs in California came from up here in the Bay Area. Guys, look, you have to have a place to live if you work here, other than the remote people. But still, a lot of these companies are requiring people to come in 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and that's probably going to increase. So, how about the East Bay? All right. Do you know that the East Bay is the top producer of jobs? And that blew my mind. But here's the point. Contra Costa, the East Bay, we're on fire. And it's going to continue to be strong if you look at the data. So let's look at housing starts. Because if you don't have enough housing, you can look at permitting and say, okay, why is it that housing is still tight? Well, because there's not enough of it. This isn't that hard to understand, but it is when you look at it and you go, hey, where's all the listings? And I'll get into why sellers are not going to be selling in a panic. Okay, that's the next thing. So here we go. September 20. This is a U.S. number, but you have to understand that the U.S. economy drives some of what California does. California is a separate beast. Often, I agree. However, when you look at these numbers here, a 14.4% drop in new permits. You guys, we have to pay attention to this as professionals. Because if you don't think this is going to affect over the next year or two, whether or not new properties come on the market, it all affects each other. And, you know, I do a lot, I've done tons of loans out in Lathrop and Mountain House and all out there. All this new construction going on. Well, what does that affect us here? And the answer is yeah. Because if people can buy out there, are they going to buy here? Certain percentage of them, no, they'll buy out in the valley. So let's go to the next slide here. Okay, June 2020 was the last time. There's less permits now than there was in June of 2020. This is a California number. Next thing is, this is single family production of new homes. You guys, it's flat. It's not enough. If you look at this graph, you see that up there at the top, the annual change is minus 3% in new home building construction. So look, these numbers matter when it comes to what's happening in our market. Okay, next thing is, I've had this slide now for a little bit, but it still applies. California is so far behind in terms of new unit production compared to household formations. If you look at this chart, it's the same thing over and over again for the last 5 years. The blue line is household formation growth. The orange line is new construction. What does this tell us? There's more households, and you can forget the news that says, oh, everybody's leaving California. Wrong. Take a look at the numbers. Okay, I could go through that too. California has been somewhat flat for the last 3 years, it's true. But that's with everybody leaving because new people are coming in because of the jobs. So the household formations are up. Anyway, you can get this information from the Fed. You know, I find this one, this is household formation. Look at that line. When we have household formations, these people need houses. It's that simple. And so the supply and demand effect is in place. Okay, now, let's go to the big chunk, the big segment of this, millennials. 43% of the purchase. And I can tell you from my drawer of pre-approvals that this is a fact. Okay, it's an electronic drawer now, by the way. Just saying. Okay, the millennials are out in force. Okay, they're buying up everything that they can get their hands on. And this is going to continue to drive the market. I pulled this because I say, what's the motive of a millennial, for instance, and what's their intention? 61% of the millennials intend to buy in the next 12 months, next 1 year. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. You know what the number of millennials there are? I mean, I could get into that whole thing. Here's the point: they're buying, and they can. A lot of them are in the tech or healthcare industries, and they're making plenty of money. And this is their motive. They're tired of high rents and flushing the money down the drain. So when you look at the interviews on motives, 50% are motivated because of high rent. They're going, look, we need to buy. The number 2 motive in there, you see the 48% one, that's one because they are taught that it's a good long-term strategy. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of motive for the millennials to jump in the market. Let's go to another thing, down payment percentage. Look at the bottom. You see that 22%? Well, let's invert that. 78% of the millennials expect to put less than 20% down. The biggest bucket is 10%. I agree. That's what I'm seeing. If you have to be in a position to accept 10% down up to, you know, our area, $1.5 million, and so on, you've got to be able to do it in order to capture this market. Next thing is, there's lots more of them. These millennials, you see that peak up there? There's the next 2 years, millennials are just coming of age. This wave is going to continue. So let's, I love this. This is the millennials. Get ready. Okay, they need a signal, folks. It's up to us to give them that signal. It's okay, jump in. Okay, now's the time to move forward and buy. I think this is one of the best times ever for millennials to buy, or anybody for that matter. Next thing. Okay, waiting for the housing market to crash? Don't. And there's a lot of reasons why. Okay, if you look at, these are the statistics, and I'm going to go back to 2008 since Tim brought that up, 2008. That was a pretty good story there, bro, when you walk through the whole thing. But 2008, what happened? In that time frame, 11.36% of the mortgages were in default. Right now, it's 0.05, nothing. Why is that? Because in the last 15 years, since 2008, 2007 meltdown, the buyers or the owners they could actually pay for their mortgage. They had to qualify. Okay, no more 100% stated income, high interest rate, adjustable loans. You actually had to qualify so they can pay their mortgage. They're not going to fire sale. Okay, another reason here, household record, they have more equity. These sellers right now are not in trouble. First, they can pay the mortgage. Second is they have huge equities. They're not walking, and they're not going to let anybody grab what they feel like they already have obtained, which is a large equity. So, California prediction. Look, we live in one of the greatest states in the union. I mean, let's face it, you can, within an hour you can be at the coast and you can, go. There's so many things here in California that attract and keep people that the prediction is it's going to continue. So let's go to the conclusion. All right, here we go. Some settling. So there's going to be some pockets where there's going to be some deals, because certain sellers are going to be more motivated than others, and they're going to willing to give up a little to move on to whatever they need to do. However, they're not in trouble. Get this message. These sellers are not in trouble. They don't have to sell, and they're not going to lose their home if they don't. The next thing is the millennials. You better be marketing to them. You better be doing that stuff, because if you're not, you're going to miss a big piece of the market. Okay, and then the job growth. Remember, keep it in your mind. We have high job growth in Northern California, especially the Bay Area. We got the jobs. People need homes. Okay, even if it's in the East Bay, that's good. And the last thing, the housing starts are down. That's going to make this worse and better for the sellers. And your people that get listings, just get in there and hang in there. It's a good thing. So, hey, by the way, yeah, I work for Safe Credit Union. The 10% down jumbo stuff, don't forget. I can help you get those extra deal or two a year. Okay, it makes a difference who you use and how it works. So there you go. Onward. Okay, well, it is for sure. I'm an optimist. I still carry a comb.
Got it.